welcome to the Giraffe Social Media Podcast. It's what social media managers are talking about. I'm Ellie, and today I'm joined by Katie and Chloe.
Hi!
Coming up on this week's episode, we'll be discussing what 3 apps we would keep on our phones, how to do Reels for your business, along with Instagram's new data analytics update. Stick around to the end of the show and we'll be answering some of your burning DMs. Before we kick things off, ladies, I've got a question for you both. We use our smartphones daily, and if your phone is like mine, you'll have lots of apps that you might use all the time or don't ever use. So if you had to delete all but 3 apps from your smartphone, which ones would you keep and why?
Oh, I love this question because it just really highlights how shallow of a Gen Z I am. I think if I'm being completely honest, for phone apps, I think I would just keep Instagram, TikTok, and WhatsApp. Purely, for what the apps are based off, I'd keep WhatsApp so I can keep in touch with my family. I would keep TikTok for consuming entertainment, and then I would keep Instagram for putting out my life, to continue to put out my life to people. And I think that would be me sorted. But now I'm dreading hearing your intellectual answers that will make me feel really shameful about mine.
Well, if there's anything about me, it is that I am not intellectual, and I also have Instagram. I also think Instagram and TikTok are my main 2, and then Spotify as well. I don't think I could live without my carefully curated playlists.
I think I could get away with not having it purely because of the music on TikTok. I prefer the TikTok music edits than I do the actual songs.
It is quite shameful because I do actually have a playlist on Spotify which is mostly TikTok songs.
Right, I love that those are a thing now as well.
But yeah, Instagram, gotta keep in touch with my cosplay friends and that, and TikTok, I'm just too addicted. It would probably be good if I did delete it, but it's just not gonna happen.
Thing is though, you both made really good points, but I'm thinking from more of a practical level as well, because obviously I don't know if you guys have online banking apps. And do you know what I mean? Uber as well. I use Uber a lot, so I can't imagine not having those apps at my fingertips just to be just for convenience.
Shelley would absolutely survive.
I feel to rebut Katie and I think banking and getting a cab is something that I can do in person quite easily. I cannot scroll unless I read a book. A photo album is, I guess, the physical equivalent of Instagram. That would get quite repetitive, whereas a physical bank and then just hailing a taxi, that is my IRL equivalent to those apps.
Oh god, it's very clear that Ellie would survive in a survival situation, and me and Chloe are just over in the corner scrolling through TikTok.
Yes, when in an emergency, you and I would be useless, Katie, but at least we have Ellie with us.
I must admit, though, I would need Instagram or TikTok just to kind of balance out the practicality with the entertainment. Otherwise my life would be very, very boring.
I realised I didn't put a single messaging thing out of my top 3, so I think that says a lot about me as a person.
You can message on Instagram. You got it.
You can somewhat contact me.
Instagram just needs a built-in bank, and then it's sorted. We need Instagram Bitcoin.
Oh, I don't think we're far off. Give it 2 or 3 years. Facebook will own everything at that point, so it'll just be integrated into Instagram.
So true.
Yeah, Instagram, if you're listening, you can
credit us.
Yeah. So, very, very good points from everyone here. And if you're listening, we want to know what 3 apps you would keep. So, moving on to our main segment of this week's episode, we are going to be chatting about how to do Instagram Reels for your business. For those of you who don't know about Instagram Reels, they are a content format that allows you to create and share short, engaging videos that, unlike Instagram stories, don't disappear after 24 hours. Instagram Reels are videos that can last up to 60 seconds long, and they are very similar to TikTok, with Reels offering a set of editing tools that allow users to create fun content. Instagram Reels is something that your business should be aware of, especially since Instagram's company chief stated a few months ago that Instagram is no longer just a photo sharing app, with the platform's focus shifting towards video and entertainment content. Instagram will now be recommending video content on individual explore pages and feeds. Therefore, now is a better time than ever to create real content for your business. So, for today's episode, Katie, Chloe and I are going to be talking you through how you can do Instagram Reels for your business. So, I'm going to turn to you guys now as our creative experts at Giraffe. What tips do you have about how businesses can use Instagram Reels? Chloe, do you want to start?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, before I guess we get into like content ideas and real ideas, I wanted to kind of like take a few steps back and then go through some tips that I have in like creating the reels themselves before you end up posting them on social media. So I don't know if you guys, when you're creating reels for, you know, personal accounts or even for some of the businesses we work for here, do you guys tend to create your videos in an external app and then upload them, or do you like to edit them and film them within Instagram?
I mean, from my perspective, I prefer using the in-app features just because it's more convenient for me. I find it simpler, but I know other people prefer external apps.
I mean, it kind of depends on the content. Like, and I find this with TikTok as well. Like, if I just want to do like basic video, like 1 or 2 shots or whatever, not too exciting, then like I'll absolutely use like the in-app features. But like, I don't know, if I want to do something like a bit more exciting or like have some different fonts or like have some different effects, then like I definitely tend to lean towards like mobile apps for that. Like specifically like CapCut is like my go-to. I really like using that. It's really like easy, and they've got like plenty of like amazing effects on there for free. So like, can't go wrong there.
Yeah, totally. I mean, one of my top tips, I guess, for people who are maybe like just getting into it, not really completely across Instagram Reels and how it sort of works filming wise, I definitely recommend pre-recording your reels using apps like InShot or Splice. I think they're super useful, and it kind of gives you an opportunity to really get your timings right and edit your videos properly, especially if you're kind of putting them to a song that has like a really, the trend is to kind of cut your videos with the beat or like jump with the beat, that kind of thing. I think editing externally is really useful to make sure that you get it right, because there is nothing more off-putting than seeing those videos where you know, the scene changes with the beat but it's off, it's not on beat. That drives me crazy, and yeah, really not something that you want to be putting out there. So step number 1, I guess, is to download an external app, especially if you're kind of camera shy. I think to give yourself the time and the space to film as many takes as you need to make yourself, you know, come across as confident, or to, you know, rehearse what you want to say or even just what you want to film. I think it's really beneficial to kind of do that in your own time and still have the ability to put it all together at the end. Another thing kind of on the topic of, you know, music and editing to a beat, something that maybe not a lot of people know and that can kind of help your reel perform well once you've uploaded it, is visiting Instagram's creators account. Basically every week they upload sort of a short list of sounds that are trending and that they're sort of pushing within the app. So take a look at those every week and see if you can kind of apply that sound or that music to the video that you want to post, because that's just going to kind of help you a little bit more once you've posted that. And then finally, the most most like super important thing to remember, I know this episode is all about Reels, but we couldn't really talk about Reels without mentioning TikTok, is it's important to note that Instagram has said that they will not boost any reel or video content that has what they call a watermark on it, which we all know is just code for if you post a TikTok video straight from TikTok to Reels, you are not getting our business today, sir. So make sure that you use platforms like Snaptic that allow you to download your TikTok videos and removes that watermark for you. If you want to kind of cross post across those two platforms, it's super important that you do that if you want to see any kind of extra reach there. But I guess getting into the content things, I know, Katie, you've got some really awesome ideas, but I thought the 3 types of content that I kind of like to see from businesses and that are really easy for businesses to create is authentic content. So things like behind the scenes of your business, that again is really great. If you are a bit camera shy, you can just film the operations without putting your face on there. The second is educational content. This type of content performs well no matter how you're putting it out there, whether it's a static image or a reel. So things like how-tos, maybe some guides on how to use your product always perform really well. And then, of course, product-focused videos are just like a winner in my eyes. I'll watch them for hours on end without even, having followed the brand. So with that in mind, again, don't forget that you can tag your products in Instagram Reels now as well, which is going to be super beneficial if, that person who's watching your video doesn't follow you or even know about your brand. They can really easily click on the product that you've featured there and shop it straight from the reel. So yeah, I think that's kind of my vague overview of the content I like to see. But I guess, Katie, I know you've got you're kind of a TikTok and reel whiz. So I'd love to hear what content ideas you've got.
I don't think I'm quite at the status of like queen of reels like you are, Chloe. But like, honestly, like I love the fact that reels have like really taken off on Instagram, because like if you're a business and you've already got like a following on Instagram and not one yet on TikTok, it's just like a really good way to kind of get your foot in the door of like the short form video content that's just like performing so well, and you don't even have to build like a brand new audience for it on a different platform. So like, it's just a really good thing to capitalize on at the moment. And there is like so many ways you can use reels for your business. Like Chloe's mentioned a few of them already, but like, as you said with the creators page, is that what it's called? Yes. I always forget what it's called, but I love it so much. Honestly, when you told me about the creators page for the first time and I just like found it, I was like, whoa, my life has changed forever.
Yes, it's like free insider knowledge. If you're not already on the page, definitely
especially where like Instagram kind of has like this mysterious feeling. It's just like, ooh, I'm not going to tell you what you need to do to succeed. You've just got to know. So having like the creators page, it just makes life so much easier. But like, paying attention to the trends that they're putting out there and following them is just such a surefire way to just like generate engagement. Because, what's trending for other people will probably work for you as well. Yeah.
I think as well, like with the creators page, sorry to jump in that, Katie, is Instagram just wants so badly for reels to succeed that they really are giving out free information. So, if they are recommending a sound, it is for a reason, and they probably are really pushing videos that use that sound. So again, if I haven't, both of us recommended the creators page enough, definitely jump on it, because, along with providing the sound tips, they provide, a bunch of other insider knowledge that is super,
it feels
super
like
helpful.
When you're reading it that you shouldn't be able to read it. It feels like it's meant to be like super secret, but it's not.
Yeah, it feels like you're in a board meeting with Instagram, their Reels team. So yeah, it's great.
So I love that so much. And then like you can also use Reels as a way to, I know we mentioned a couple weeks back, about trying to get out of like a creative rut, but it's just another amazing way to get out of a creative rut and use something that's really taking off on Instagram at the moment. Yeah, you can definitely use Reels as a way to approach your content differently and repurpose some of your content. So like if you normally do still images, like a lot of people do still do on Instagram, you can work out ways that you can add movement for reels. And like if you post blogs as well, you can use the information in your reel to provide that content, and then it will also drive more attention to your blog. So it's like a proper win-win there. And you know, as Chloe mentioned, like if you're a shy business owner and like you don't want to show your face on camera, there's still like plenty of ways to use reels. Like you shouldn't be afraid of them. And if anything, it can let you be a bit more creative with it if you don't want to show your face and you only want to show like hands or just the products themselves. And you know, like Chloe said, showing behind the scenes of your business, I mean, I get obsessed with those like packing your order videos. I find them like so relaxing.
Yes, especially, have you seen like the candy, the sweet companies, and they do like the pick and mix bags, and then it's the videos of them just like pouring a bunch of sweets into this, like, oh my gosh, it's so mesmerizing.
No, I become so obsessed with them as well. And you know, authenticity is always a thing that like audiences want. So like if you can show them that little behind the scenes, then it's always going to be a win on the authenticity scale.
Totally. Consumers are so nosy as well. Like the more behind the scenes content you can give, the better.
It's like a personal touch as well to the brand. Like it shows a human behind the brand. Like another thing that you could do on top of obviously doing like behind the scenes and like meet the team, you could do like Q&As, because obviously reels are a great way to just kind of put a load of content into a short video. So then you're not losing the interest of your audience, but you're also answering all the questions that they're probably being asked like on a regular basis. So that's a really good way to kind of keep everyone engaged, and also create exciting content.
And I think like now more than ever, like a lot of people are leaning more towards like small businesses and that. So like, because I think people do love that personal touch now, especially like, you know, coming up to Christmas or whatever, people really have like a push for like shopping small. So it's just like the perfect time to like really start like showing that personal touch to your business, and I think it will really like hook a lot of people in. And then as well, like using voiceovers to show off your products, like that's another way that will draw people in, because it's another human aspect to your brand.
Definitely. I think doing voiceovers as well is like, to keep coming back to like the shy business owner, it's such a great hack because you can sort of film all that content that you don't want to sort of say on screen, and then you could literally read a script and record that and pop it over your video. I think that is so genius. I forgot to mention as well though, like with apps that you can download to help you with reels, there are a bunch of like teleprompter apps that you can use that kind of show up on your camera as you're, say you want to film like a selfie style video of you speaking to your customers. You can have like a sort of script being prompted to you on the screen there, and all you have to do is read it, so you can like write it ahead of time and then just reread what you've written. And I think that is super helpful as well, maybe if you're a bit nervous about jumping in front of the camera and addressing your audience.
And if like you cringe at the sound of your own voice, like you've only got to listen to it when you're editing. Like you don't have to listen to it again. So it's like no one else is going to be cringing at your voice. It's just a you thing, really. Because I know I do that all the time.
No, exactly. I was going to say like one like final tip, unless you guys have anything more to add on reels. I think it's really important to remain inclusive as well. I've seen this recently pop up on like my TikTok and Instagram feeds, where they were saying like please include captions on your videos so that people who can't hear very well or are deaf, they can still engage in your content. So then it's remaining inclusive for everyone, whilst also hopefully benefiting your brand by increasing engagement. So I think that's another really key point to make when creating
like including captions as well is like, so I can't remember the exact statistic, but I remember reading a little while back that it's like a certain percentage of people just don't tend to have the volume on like when they're watching stuff anyway, and like having their volume on is like a hassle. So it's like if you have the captions, not only are you like being accessible to like the hard of hearing community, but you know, you're also drawing in people who like would miss everything you were saying if you didn't have the captions on, because they just choose not to listen to them.
Definitely. I think like above all else when it comes to creating reels in every aspect is to remember that you yourself, even as a business owner, are a consumer. So you just need to think about, you know, how you consume reels on the app and what you like to see or what you think performs best and is most enjoyable to watch. You know, I think most of us do watch videos with the sound turned off and think of how many you scroll away from simply because the key message isn't being communicated to you through whether that be captions, alt text or subtitles. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like we've made some really good points that hopefully the people listening at home can action themselves and that will benefit their business. But like we said, it really doesn't have to be complex, and there's lots of ideas that you can take from competitors, and just having a good scroll on your Instagram reels or your TikTok feed next time. And yeah, and let us know how you get on with all of our actionable tips. So now it's time to dive into the top social media news story of the week. So this week, Instagram is adding new data analytics to provide more performance insights for marketers and creators. So with this recent Instagram update, the aim is to provide more data for marketers, which will give them specific information on who's engaging with their content, whether they follow your profile or not, and also the total reach of your Instagram posts. So basically, I'm going to throw it straight back over to you guys. What do you think of this new update? And do you think this will be beneficial? And is it going to be as good as they are making it out to be, basically?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I saw when I read this article that kind of stood out to me, the first update, was the engaged audience insights. And this to me is super exciting because it shows the users that are engaging with your content, like, you know, the demographic insights, but it also shows whether or not they follow your profile, which I think is going to be so interesting to see, right? Because, you know, in our regular insights, we kind of have that stat about reach and how many unique profiles or unique visitors have seen your content or visited your page as a result of the content. But this is kind of going to go one step further and show, I'm hoping, a percentage of how many people that viewed or engaged with this content were following you and how many of them weren't. And yeah, I'm super excited for that. It's just going to provide us, you know, so much more insight into how our hashtags are performing, you know, whether or not this content showed up on like the explore page or if it was reshared. Like, I think it's going to be so interesting. And to be honest, I didn't really read beyond that specific update because it excited me so much.
I don't know, I kind of find like data like that and analytics like really fascinating. Not to the point of obsession, because I'm not going to put that out there. But, you know, I always loved like finding out how my posts, like how people are engaging with it, how they're reaching out. And like, honestly, it's just good to find out. Like, I feel like it's a much needed update for their analytics. Like, I think they were very, very basic before. Like, they really didn't tell you a lot compared to like some of the other social media, like TikTok's analytics. Like, I feel like although they are very, very hidden, like, I feel like they have a lot of detail to them. Whereas Instagram is very much like, this is your top engaged with post. Enjoy.
Yeah, I so find that like Instagram analytics, I'm like, okay, yep, this is really interesting information, but I'm not actually quite sure what any of it means.
And like the most annoying one is when they're like, oh, this post is performing better than 36% of your other posts. And it's like, no, it isn't. Like, it looks like it's not. Where are you getting that information from?
Totally. And I think more often than not, especially with that stat, I think, yeah, it shows up on your post that this particular post is performing better than 98% of your others. I mean, this is a rumor. Please, Instagram, don't come for me. But I think it's kind of a ploy to get people to promote their posts and to put money into the app. I'm not sure whether that's true. I've just heard a few people say it and it makes a lot of sense to me because more often than not, when that notification appears, that post actually isn't performing the best. So that's interesting. But I've also just seen the update or the new metric being added, which is accounts engaged, which will show the total number of accounts that interacted with your content in a given time period. And again, I think this is like super insightful, not just for us as social media managers or as brand owners in terms of like how well our content is performing, but it also kind of gives an insight into the algorithm algorithm a little bit, because for a while now we've kind of been told, or we've assumed, that the lifespan of an Instagram post is roughly 24 hours. So it will be interesting to see how many people interacted within the first hour, because again, we've been told that those first 20 minutes to 1 hour is crucial in terms of how many more people Instagram is going to kind of boost your content out to. So maybe the post hasn't performed better, you can see that within the first 20 minutes or 30 minutes hardly any of your followers engaged with it, and that's going to kind of give you a better indication as to why it hasn't performed better. So I think these new insights are going to be really, really interesting, both for creators and for business owners.
And I think,
I mean,
I think
take it away.
as well, like having that engaged audience metric, like I know we shouldn't really be looking at followers as like the be all and end all, but like if you're not having like a huge follower increase, like maybe you are still getting engagement, but they're just not following you. So you can kind of work out, you know, an action plan for how to tackle that. But I think it'll kind of make people feel a lot better if they're not getting like the follower growth that they want, if they're getting the engagement from people.
Definitely.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it'll be really interesting just to see how it progresses, and then when we obviously start using it as well in our day-to-day work. Definitely super duper exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it works out for everyone. Today's direct message reads, does Instagram Reels help to grow followers, and how long should a Reels video be? So the more people you reach with your Reels, the higher your chances that the follower count and engagement rate will grow. Do you guys agree with that? I mean...
Yeah, it was a super relevant question, so thank you to the user for sending it in for our Reels episode. I think, you know, Instagram has already confirmed that the algorithm will now be prioritizing Reels and, you know, pushing Reels as their kind of primary focus of the app. But it doesn't mean that you can post any old 15-second video and you will like gain 100 followers. So touching back on the brilliant creators account, they did release a post recently that kind of gave you a bit of a checklist for creating Reels and how to make sure that you are optimizing that, and basically just giving you a list of best practices. So I thought it would kind of be useful to share this with the listeners now. So they said that your Reel should be entertaining and fun, which is very vague and helpful. It should be inspiring, so maybe it's like sparks a trend that other users can easily remix or participate in themselves. It should use creative tools like text, filters, or camera effects. Again, to kind of go back on what I said in the earlier in this episode, sometimes it does pay off to create your content within the app, because you can then you know, add text from within Instagram, which it favors. You can use their filters, or even any of their sort of creative effects that they offer users, and that will kind of help to boost it in the Instagram AI algorithm. It has to be a vertical video. Obviously, horizontal videos are typically not as easy to create, and they don't look as aesthetically pleasing on the Reels sort of portion. You got to make sure it uses music from Instagram's music library and or an original audio that you find or that you create. So again, if you are repurposing your content from TikTok, try and find that audio that you've used on that platform and find it again on Instagram and use it there, as opposed to uploading it with the sound already on your video. And finally, it just says to experiment. So try something new, be yourself, and see what works, which basically we've kind of been preaching in this episode to, you know, experiment as much as possible, as is the case with all of social media. So I think, yes, Reels will help you gain followers, just as a matter of fact that Instagram now prioritizes that, and there is a dedicated space for us to find new users through the Reels tab. But obviously don't expect to post a really a low quality Reel and gain 100 followers in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, managing expectations there, definitely. Also, I do feel like it also depends on like your niche that you're in, depending on like the follower growth, because obviously, I don't know, say if you're like a foodie account, I feel like food accounts grow quite quickly, and they're quite popular. So yeah, it's just kind of waiting and seeing what content you're producing, and like definitely, like you said, experimenting with the different topics. And I think we've definitely given a range of different options that the listeners can try out. But yeah,
it would be nice though, like if there was this like a one-way strategy to gain followers. That would be lovely if it was just like, I just have to make reels and I'll gain followers. It would be so nice if it was like that.
Totally.
They don't like to make it easy. They like to throw in a few spanners every now and then, like, oh, sorry, you've just got to know the algorithm. Here you go. It's not the same anymore. But no, it's, you know, it's fine. Onwards and upwards. Going back to the length of time of the reel, again, there isn't a set time. You know, there isn't anything on, you know, online that goes, you need to have a reel that's 30 seconds long and you're going to get X amount of followers and X amount of engagement. Obviously, a reel can be up to 60 seconds long, so it's as long or as little Instagram reel length time that you want it to be, really. I don't know whether you guys have anything else to add to that.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to the timings of your reel. Obviously, due to popular demand, Instagram recently increased the timing to 60 seconds. So that's great that we do have, you know, a bit of leeway in how long we create our videos. But I think it's important to remember that length doesn't matter so long as your audience and the people watching your video are engaged. So again, with the algorithm, you know, the watch time is super important, and rewatch time, again, are huge factors. So don't turn what could be a 15-second video into a minute-long video. Like, if it's short and snappy and people watch it the whole way through, that's going to benefit you a lot more than if you make a 1-minute video that people only view 10 seconds of. So super important to consider as well.
I totally agree. Like, if you want to be doing long-form content, like maybe look into IGTV, you know? It's like something, a feature they've had for quite a while that is specifically designed for that longer content. So I think, as Chloe said, like depending on the content you're wanting to produce, that it will naturally fall to the amount of time it needs to be.
Definitely.
So that was our top DM for this week. Hopefully we answered your burning question. If you'd like to be featured in next week's episode, then make sure you slide into our DMs on Instagram at GiraffeSM. Well, that's all we've got time for today. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, or follow us if you're listening on Spotify. We'd love to hear what you thought about today's episode, so make sure you reach out on social media and let us know what you thought. We've been Giraffe Social Media, you've been amazing, and we'll see you next time.